Susul.
Welcome to Under the Plumbob, the podcast about all things related to the EA-Maxis series of games called The Sims. We avoid the real world by talking about our made-up ones. It's SimLit. The episode's about SimLit. And I'm Roxy, your host, on a new headset. So,
I'm Caitlin from Team Llama, using the same headset you use, so I think it's going to be okay.
oh, and I have a surprise. Wait. Don't talk. We have to keep you in the closet until the right time. So, you know Team Cowplant. You know Team Llama. Today is the first day we're officially crossing the streams because we have a member of Team Cowplant here. Say hi.
Hi, guys.
Who is that?
It's me. That sounded really creepy. It's Vanity. You have nighttime Vanity, which is different from daytime, morning time Vanity, which you normally get for Cowplant because it's in the morning and I've got like sleepy dreams in my eyes. I don't know. What do people call those? Like, I call them sleepy dreams, but like the eye crusties?
I call them sleep, but my husband calls them eye boogers.
When I was a kid, my mom called them sleepy dreams. You got sleepy dreams in your eyes.
That's the cutest way I've ever heard that being described.
So that's me in the morning, but nighttime Vanity has wine and people who yelled at her all day at her job. So, yeah!
Not cool, people. Not cool.
I don't give a shit if your rent is what it is, okay? Like, I can't change it. I can't change your rent.
Pay your bills.
Pay it. Bye. Look, just understand this. Just know that this is Vanity from Cowplant, and I have tangents falling out of my ears. Sorry.
Do you have a bucket?
We flipped the tangent switch.
Let's SimLit. The reason why I'm on this is because, first of all, your girl loves fan fiction. Like, hardcore. I think I mentioned it very briefly about during the Don Lothario episode about fan fiction. But y'all, I've been reading fan fiction since like back in the day. I was reading like Sailor Moon fan fiction, and then I went to Buffy fan fiction, and then I went to freaking Harry Potter fan fiction where I stayed and died.
Yeah, I was Cardcaptor Sakura fan fiction.
Oh, nice.
fan fiction. Also Harry Potter.
What the hell is in Pokemon fan fiction? Like, do you just catch them all? It's like Pikachu. Talk about Pika Pikas.
There's characters in the anime. There's also, it can get real weird. It can get real weird.
I mean, Team Rocket, I'm there for it.
Prepare for trouble?
Make it double.
Yes! Anyway, so I'm very well versed, and when I found out that SimLit was a thing, was by accident, because fan fiction has a very big presence on Tumblr as well, and so does SimLit, which we'll get into way later from this. And if you don't know what fan fiction is, by the way, first of all, stop, collaborate, and listen. Vanity's back with some fan fiction. Do you like that, though?
That was great.
It's stories written by fans like around the world about whatever you're interested in. In this case, it'd be The Sims, but like I went through my gambit of things like Harry Potter, and it's usually super big stuff. Like Doctor Who has lots of fan fiction. Cardcaptor Sakura apparently has fan fiction, and so does Pokemon. Like
and Digimon.
Did you say Digimon?
Yes.
Digital monsters?
Yes.
It's like trendy now.
Hey, I watched the first season when it was gone. I was like 10 watching it when it was the first dub coming through for season 1 and 2.
But Digimon? I
Yeah.
never watched it, but I watched Sailor Moon and then I stopped watching anime for a very long time.
It was plot driven in the way that some other stuff wasn't, and I was enraptured.
My OTP anime is Ranma 1/2, which no one even watches anymore.
What is that?
Ranma 1/2. I love that series. It's hilarious.
I'm writing it down. 1 second.
Oh my god. It's written by a woman too, which was not so common. It was like popular in the 90s when I was in high school back in the day.
Back in the day.
So here's the thing. As the oldest person here, even though this isn't my generation to speak for, I feel like I need to say fan fiction goes way back to the days of Star Trek. And do you know the origin of slash, the term slash?
No, I don't read slash fan fiction. My roommate does.
Oh my god, I love me slash. I love my slash. Okay.
My roommate read a lot of Teen Wolf slash fan fiction with Styles and Derek. Anyway, go ahead.
The origin of that, at least as far as was handed to me, is it originally came with people writing Kirk / Spock fan fiction and just kind of blew up from there. And so, yeah, slash is when you pair up same-sex characters that are not paired up in the canon, but in your head they are.
But you have to understand that slash is usually male-male. Then you have fem slash, which is female-female. There's a difference.
Lemon was an old fanfiction.net term for sexy times.
Lemon and limes.
And lime was for same-sex couples, right?
Mm-hmm. So fanfiction.net back in the day was where you got a lot of your fanfiction from.
Also, it has not changed at all. It looks exactly the same.
I know, right? It has not changed.
Which is somewhat helpful for finding stuff.
But the problem with fanfiction.net is that they changed their ratings. So basically, before it was like basically how movies are rated. Yeah, G to NC-17.
American movies.
Yeah, I don't know what other movies. Sorry, American movies. I'm in Texas, y'all. We've covered this. So you had the M with MPAA or whatever it is, or MMA, whatever they're called. People who motion picture are rating people. They rate it. So people use that for fan fiction. And then fanfiction.net was like, hey, we're going to change this to like K to T and then blah, 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 blah. And they took all the NC-17 stuff off. So when they did that, adultfanfiction.net happened. So adultfanfiction.net was basically where you could put all of like your straight up like smut, your erotica, or even your PWP, which stands for plot, which is basically just means it's just sex.
I thought that the same thing, the adultfanfiction.net, I thought that was going to happen to Tumblr when Tumblr rated it, but it didn't.
I did too.
But I guess we're not going to do that.
But because Tumblr backed down. They backed down. They're like, oh shit.
Because the algorithm didn't work. Nothing worked. It blocked like my Critical Role gifs. Like there are literally a bunch of people rolling dice. What are you doing?
So then adultfanfiction.net happened, and that was really big. It's still pretty big. I think it's still out there. I actually haven't checked in a while, but it was pretty big. And then a lot of things and then Meba happened too. Guys, I told you I'm a fucking wealth of information about this stuff. Meba happened where that was a thing. And then Wattpad was a thing too as well, which is this really, really, really shitty fan fiction. Like, sorry if you're a Wattpad user, but it's like full of 12-year-olds writing fan fiction about how they want to be, like, want to hang out with My Chemical Romance, something like that. It's really bad. And then Archive of Our Own happened. So Archive of Our Own is pretty much where a lot of things sit now because of fanfiction.net's stupid policy on pretty much sex in your... They started to censor, even if it wasn't like explicit smutty stuff, but like sex that, or just scenes that, even violence, like that moved your plot along or were part of your plot. Think romance novel. They would start to like censor you, what you could and could not do. So
it just limited any kind of, like, you had to be very PG with your creativity.
Very much so.
Which is like, we're just making stuff up. Why are you trying to limit us on our imagination?
But a lot of people came from like Twilight, that if y'all did not know that came from fanfiction, get your life together.
Oh, you mean 50 Shades of Grey?
50 Shades of Grey came from Twilight fanfiction, and it was really shitty Twilight fanfiction and a pretty shitty book. But sorry if you love it. My personal opinion.
Twilight sucks too.
Vanny's opinion do not reflect the opinions of Team Llama, Cowplant, or Under the Plumbob Podcast. Still sucks.
Didn't Beyonce kill you yet?
I'm going to get in trouble, but Cassandra Clare, she was a fan fiction writer.
Was she really?
She was the one, I think she's credited, I don't know if it's true or not, with the creation of Draco and Leather Pants trope.
That's so funny.
Mortal Instruments, Cassandra Clare.
Yes, if you read her books, it's just Ginny and Draco.
So Jason Clary or Ginny and Draco? Oh, never a ship I got aboard. I'm sorry, I was a Hermione shipper, and I was also my canon ships was Victor and Hermione, because I feel like that ship could have sailed far, far into the galaxy, far, far away. It was a great ship.
He would have treated her like a queen. It's true.
Like a freaking queen! And then my non-canon ship is Hermione, but I don't believe in Harry or Ron being people for her. So, unpopular opinions.
During the books I was like, Harry and Hermione, but now afterwards I'm like, you know what? I appreciate who Jenny became as a person. It's fine.
I just don't think Ron was good enough for her, but that's just my personal opinion.
Especially not Movie Ron. Movie Ron was
Movie Ron was a douche, but whatever. So,
but he had a good heart. I'm like Team Wolfstar all the way. Sirius and Remus.
Oh yes,
are my heart.
Yes.
Sirius and Remus all the way. In fact, that's my first exposure to SimLit is Sirius and Remus and other Marauders fanfic that was run on LiveJournal.
I had a LiveJournal.
I had a LiveJournal.
I had like 4 LiveJournals.
Did any of us have a Zanga but me? No one had a Zanga.
I didn't have a Zanga.
No.
I didn't have that other thing either. What was the MySpace?
You didn't have a MySpace?
No, I just did LiveJournal.
I had a MySpace, and then I transferred to LiveJournal, where I had to learn basic code to get the pretty backgrounds.
We should all put our LiveJournal accounts on
No,
the notes.
absolutely not.
No, but I will link to this. A lot of the pictures are gone now, but it's still a really fun story by Cloudless Nights. That was the user. And I swear to God, if I could find her, I would like repost all her stuff on Tumblr or something with her permission, because I loved her stuff. It's all Sims 3. And I always thought it looked so good at the time. And now I'm like, oh my God, this is so bad.
Just logged into my LiveJournal just now. My profile picture is a picture of Hermione. It says Hermione Granger can't even fake it anymore. And let's see. Oh boy, this is bad. I love the Sookie Stackhouse series books. One Tree Hill is my anti-drug. I love Leighton.
It's a time. We're going back in time. Hold on.
Oh boy.
I actually learned a lot of graphic design because I got into making little icons for LiveJournal.
I did that with MySpace. I learned code from MySpace.
So because I knew we were doing this episode, and I asked, like, what constitutes a SimLit is a question I asked. And I was like, does, like, taking pictures of your legacy and writing a story and just, like, adding funny comments, does that count? Everyone was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, then I have written a SimLit.
Okay, where is it? Show us.
It was somewhere buried deep in the depths of LiveJournal. Like, I had to go find my LiveJournal and then go find the group that I posted in, and then go month by month until I found my name. And I was like, there it is.
Wow, that's dedication. Was it any good?
Well, I think I posted it in our group chat.
I think I remember that now.
Somebody read it because people went, LOL, I don't know.
I remember thinking it was really cute.
I remember clicking on it, and I was on my phone at work, and I was like, oh, this is funny. And then somebody came in, so I had to put my phone down.
Well, there are no pictures. Like, part of the reason of this old stuff on LiveJournal is there's no pictures anymore. So it's just like my non sequitur comments of what's going on, which I like was reading some of these, and I was like, you know what? This would make me laugh now, but it's definitely 14, 15-year-old me being like, LOL, and being like, my sister made this house because I don't build, because some things stay the same.
I feel like I could have wrote that too.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Photo Bucket.
Oh, Photo Bucket.
That's where all the pictures lived.
Oh my God, mine too. Photo Bucket's gone? Where do those pictures go? Who knows?
I think it's still there, but the old links are broken.
Yeah, but if some pictures didn't stick around, so I might like relink them, but I think who knows? I don't know.
I'm impressed that Vanity logged into her LiveJournal so quick.
So the only reason why I was able to is because it's my password and username is still saved in Chrome.
Oh.
That's the only. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm listening to you guys, but also rereading this stupid thing where I'm like, I love McCloud's Daughters and Dexter and Doctor Who. Oh boy.
Mine read like, I'm the only one who feels these emotions, and it's just really complicated. And I'm like, oh God, no.
One of the mine says I hate pigs because I couldn't come home to Texas because of the swine flu epidemic.
Oh.
Yeah. Because the military was like, no, you can't come, you can't leave because you might get the swine flu. I'm like, what the fuck? Are you kidding? So they made me get like a freaking swine flu vaccination.
Please, if you haven't already, pause the episode and get yourself a drink, and you'll enjoy this much more.
I'm about 3/4 the way through mine.
I think this is officially our first Under the Plumbob After Dark.
Does that mean that the night can come out and be like, hello, welcome to Under the Plumbob After Dark? I'd like Delilah, but a little dirtier. So I guess I should talk like this now for the whole time because it's Under the Plumbob After Dark. We're going to get real deep and dirty into SimLit, talking about Don Lothario and maybe his affairs with the whole town. Don Lothario. Okay, I'm done. I can't do that the whole time. Anyway.
So past SimLit was lived mostly on LiveJournal. That was the place. You joined Sims groups. It's kind of like Facebook is now, but with more essays.
Oh, right? It was so long.
I miss that so much. It took me so long to get used to Facebook because I was like, no one writes anything substantial here. I
miss my MySpace for that reason alone, but whatever. SimLit, where I got on this tangent of, I don't know how we got down here, but the main was I was trying to give you like a timeline of how it happened.
It was my fault.
So Archive of Our Own happened, but also Tumblr happened. So Tumblr is where SimLit became huge because you can post pictures. So what people would do, how I got into was the generation challenges. So people would be like, this is Summer. Summer is moving to the big city to be an artist. And they would follow her story. Like they would give her a backstory and they would play it through. Kind of like the people that do on YouTube now and they do like the plays.
Yeah, Let's Play.
That's what they're called, Let's Plays. I don't watch the YouTubes.
I can tell.
I watch Carpool Karaoke on YouTube and a lot of Irish people eating things on the Facts channel. That's pretty much my entire YouTube history and old My Chemical Romance videos. Anyway.
We'll educate you later, Vanity.
Please do. Anyway. So Tumblr, they would have like, they'd have like different like stills, you know, and a lot of times they would do like the generation challenges and they would have like, okay, this generation 1, and they would be their story, you know, their first walking and their first loves and blah, 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 blah. And then they would pick their person and go generation 2 and then pseudo and so forth. So that's how SimLit, at least how I was introduced to it, was that way. And then sometimes like, what is that story? Oh my God, I can't remember it anymore. The story with that homeless girl and her dad.
The runaway teen?
No, it was a homeless girl and her dad. It was a SimLit. And, like, God, Jesus, is going to make me mad now.
Oh, if the category is, like, famous SimLit, I cannot win this round of Jeopardy at all.
Yeah, this was, when I wanted to go dive down the SimLit thing, I was like, I don't know where to start. And I don't know, like, what are there, like, Oscar-nominated SimLits that I can start with to know and then find my favorite categories?
This is a great tangent. Okay, so we got a lot of information about the basics of SimLit from the Sims forum, and we'll link to that discussion. It's a whole like sticky thread that you can find easily called What is SimLit? And it's got like a Q&A and people giving their opinions. Like Caitlin, I was like very overwhelmed. And so you can do a general Google for SimLit. And there are like awards. There's also like sites like Sims VIP will list like their favorite ones and stuff like that. That's a good place to start. And actually, that's how I ended up finding, I spent all week trying to find a story to read because all I had was my ancient dusty live journal stuff. And I was like, so I did finally get into one today and I've been reading through it and enjoying it. But Vanity, tell us about the one you found.
Okay, so I read this one a while back. It's called Alice and Kev. It's the story of being homeless in Sims 3. So it's Sims 3 SimLit. And basically, I'll give you a quick thing. Kev and his daughter Alice are living in a couple of park benches, surviving on free meals from work and school, and the occasional bucket of ice cream from a neighbor's fridge. So it's a whole entire... Okay, so this is the thing. He said, this is his synopsis. It's by Ro Burkey, Roburky. It has a WordPress. We'll link the WordPress in the show notes. This is an experiment in playing a homeless family in The Sims 3. I created 2 Sims, moved them into a place made to look like an abandoned park, removed all their remaining money, and attempted to help them survive without taking any of the game's unrealistically easy cash routes. It was inspired by the old poverty challenge idea from players of The Sims 2, but it turned out to be a lot more interesting with The Sims 3 new living and neighborhood features. So, you know how like you can live in parks and shit.
Sims 3 was probably the best. If you're going to be homeless in Sims 3.
I've attempted to tell my experiences with minimum embellishment. Everything I describe in here is something that happened in the game. What's more, a surprising amount of the interesting things in the story were generated by just letting go and watching the Sims' free will and personality traits take over.
Yeah, that doesn't happen anymore.
It's a fucking saga, y'all. Like, you are rooting so hard for little Alice who gave him her shitty-ass dad, Kev. It is a saga. I highly recommend you going through. It is so good. It got me back into SimLit after I got out of SimLit, but it was posted in 2009, I do believe. So because Sims 3.
It's a little old.
It's so good. Go read it. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's definitely worth it, especially because if you're reading Sims 3 SimLit, the best part is you get like all the awesome autonomy and all the other cool stuff we miss from Sims 3 without any of the lag because you're not actually playing it.
Right?
No crashing involved.
No crashing your game. So Alice and Kev is a very, very like prime example of SimLit. It's a picture and what happened when you played, and then a picture and then what happened when you played. But it's not as easy as it sounds to do because you have to like be very cognizant of what's happening and write it down and kind of make it interesting. But
yeah, you have to be a good writer. I poked around at a bunch of different ones and I just couldn't find one that grabbed me. And then I was like, fine, I'll just check one of the ones that Sims VIP recommended. And I went with the Thoreau Legacy. And the storyline itself is kind of like, if somebody were describing it to you, you'd be like, this is so predictable. But when the way she wrote it was really good and like it was engaging. So I really enjoyed that.
So, tangent vanity has struck again. So now a lot of SimLit houses stuff on Tumblr and Archive of Our Own. Fanfiction.net doesn't have as much anymore. Oh yeah, and WordPress. So people make their own fucking like blogs for it.
Yeah, that's where I was like, I dipped into like, apparently I have a WordPress. I don't remember getting it, but I have one.
Girl, I have 3. I keep forgetting I have it.
Shit, vanity.
Because I was just like, where does SimLit live? So I was just searching in different places. I was like searching SimLit or like something akin in the search bars, and I was like, there's so much here. We found its second home.
Yeah, we did.
Mm-hmm.
Archive of Our Own gets very like a lot of this stuff that was there was very graphic. I was like, oh,
like Wicked Whims graphic or shoot people in the head graphic.
Whims graphic.
Keep in mind, you can cater it so it's not, you can change it so your rating is not NC-17 or not.
Yeah, you're seeing what you want to see. That is the beauty of Archive of Our Own. But I was just trying to like peek through to see what was all available. And I was like, okay, I get most of this. Because you can't be, unless you download Wicked Whims, you can't be that graphic in the game. So they're doing that through...
Oh, they're giving them life, y'all.
Yeah. I was talking to a friend of mine about this topic, and she went, I never thought about writing something with Sims. And I was like, not really me either. And she's like, because I guess I always saw Sims in itself as a work of fiction because you can do whatever you want. So they never thought of like taking it a step further and writing dialogue or a plot. I was like, well, there's a whole new world.
They're killing it. Like you can deep dive and find some very graphic content, and then you feel really weird because you realize this was written by like a 15-year-old. You're like, bro.
Yeah. Because they'll say something and you're like, well, that's not how that...
That's how that works?
This is my dad wrote a porno stuff happening. That's not how a cervix works.
That's legitimately, like, the reading of SimLit, of lit in general, of like fan fiction this. You could tell who has actually probably done some of the acts being said, who is a girl, who is a boy, and who knows how anything works. Because let me tell you, you don't just breathe, have a baby. You don't know you're pregnant about 4 days after you've had sex. And
except in The Sims.
Except in The Sims, but in general, like in real life, like, or if you're writing a fan fiction, you don't be like, oh God, we had sex last night. What if I'm pregnant?
Would that count in SimLit though? Because in SimLit, you're working in the Sims rules of reality.
Most of the time in SimLit, though, they try to make the characters real.
Yeah, they do seem to set it in our world as opposed to, like, of the rules of our world. I mean, at least the ones I've seen. I'm sure there are others that kind of play up the campiness of it, which I would probably enjoy. I'm more of like a humor, probably, than a drama.
Oh, and we haven't even touched on where SimLit has migrated itself to.
Oh?
You guys, it's made its way to Instagram.
Oh.
What?
I hear about that from Melly, who runs our Instagram.
I've hopped on the Instagram. I have to hop back off again because it's real weird to me for a couple reasons. One, I don't like Maxis Match. Maxis Match alpha content. I don't like alpha content, and a lot of the Sims ones have alpha content on there, so they make them look too real. Two, I mean, it's weird because you could tell it's written by like 12-year-olds, but it's like drama filled and like it's like a soap opera, but a bad one. It's like if you watch Passions, but then you watch Passions written by a 12-year-old.
So it's a lot of like high energy, but no stakes.
Yes. Does no one remember Passions? The no one? Me? Just me?
No.
It was a soap opera. Came on after Days of Our Lives back in the day. Anyway, Instagram, if you like check the Sims 4 tag on Instagram, you're gonna catch like us, the Sims, and then so much of
because I follow the hashtag The Sims, and I don't see a lot of that weird stuff that you guys are always talking about.
How?
I don't know.
How do you not?
I don't know. I follow people like who are doing. I follow this one person she's doing like the Lunar Zodiac Challenge and I think the Disney Princess Challenge, and she'll just post like pictures of her girls when they age up in their outfits. And I did see, like, I had a smutty one show up once, and I was like, no, I've got an 8-year-old who looks over my shoulder a lot, so, yeah.
And you're like, nah, I don't want it.
This is why I'm not doing the Wicked Whims episode, because I'm just like,
I mean, I have a 10-year-old in my house, but it's a cat.
That's like 50 in cat years, or something.
Shh. He's still a kitten. Do you hear him?
Oh, there he is.
He wants to go outside of the patio, so he's like,
I barricaded my 13-year-old. I closed the door and put her cat food on the other side of it.
Well, I already told you it's Friday night. My kids have to fend for themselves.
I just took my cat outside, so we'll see what happens. But he wants to go outside, but he wants me to go out there with him. And I'm like, I'm not going out there, so...
Oh yeah, they do that thing where they look back and like, are we going? And you're like, no.
You wanted to go, so go. Anyway, so if you guys were like, I want to write SimLit, because we have given it such raving reviews, you can, and you should. But I caution you, please write good SimLit. Like, take good pictures, think about your story, make your sim and cast, and then be like, I want this sim to have, this is her backstory. Please think about what you want to do.
Well, there's two kinds of SimLit. Because there's the stuff that's story-driven that you plotted and you know what's going to happen. You're going to force the things to happen in game to make your story happen. And then there's a second part that's the legacy challenge. The people who are just writing stories to go off of the challenges they're doing, that 15-year-old me did, which is you're pretty much a news reporter just following them around, taking stuff as they're going and just reporting back in a whatever manner. I did it in a slightly funny way, I hope, and just delivered it back. Like, this is what happened.
Right.
So according to the Sims resource, you can, which you can also post and find SimLit on as well. And you can comment on it. It's pretty popular there too. So your posts need to be, you don't want to make them too long because people have the attention span of gnats nowadays. So you don't want to make them freaking novels because most people won't read them. I'll read them, but most people won't read them. Especially if they're novels and they're boring. Don't make them boring novels. I don't care. Also, I feel like you should make it enough content that make people want to be like, oh, what happens next? Not I don't give a shit about Summer and her writing her 17th book. We don't care about Summer.
Yeah, know what to present. I think it also helps to present on a regular schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I don't think it depends on, because the same thing with almost everything on the internet, as long as you're consistent with your posting schedule, that would be what returning viewers want. Instead of just whenever I feel like it. As long as they know this is when to expect an episode, that's good.
Every Friday, you're going to get a new episode of what's going on with Summer. Also, please, it would help, but I'm not saying please, you don't have to. Do what you want. It's your life. But download a pose pack. I did that because of Marissa from Team Cow Plant. She takes all of her pictures you notice on Instagram that have really awesome poses or really pretty things. Those are by Marissa. Marissa is amazing. And I asked her how she did it, and it's a pose pack. So you can download a pose pack. We'll put the link in the notes if you want to know where to get some that we both have used. But you can do that so that you can download pose packs for scenarios you're looking for. So if you want Summer to be gardening in the thing, you can have a pose pack where it has her holding a watering can and blah, blah, blah. You can do a pose pack of a group or single, or you and a person. The Draco Hermione pose I did was from a pose pack. Granted, it's going to take you a lot of time to figure that out because it's kind of hard to figure it out. But once you get it done, you can set up scenarios for what you want for your pictures.
Yeah, Tumblr uses a lot of poses, and that's oh, I'm never going to get into that. It sounds too complicated.
But it helps with your story instead of just being and if I just angle it this way, it'll look like they're doing that. Instead of just being I'm just going to download the pack and just make them do it. Also,
a good photo editing software will help too. If you can afford Photoshop, because honestly, who can? You can find just good photo editing software, just Open something, not Open Diary. Open something has it's a spoof of Microsoft.
Oh yeah, Open Office.
Open Office, that's what it is. Let's open something. But they have all of the Microsoft programs, but free. It's not the exact same, but they might have some kind of photo editing. But you can always Google it and see what you can find for free, or do what I do and just hop through trials of things, because we get a 30-day trial. Sweet, 30 days. All right, new email address. More 30 days.
Here we go.
So I'm not advocating stealing, by the way.
Yeah, you're probably not the only one who does that. I have to use InDesign for work, so we have the Creative Suite through work, and I finally put Photoshop on my laptop, and I was so happy that I did. But if you don't have that fortunateness, there is a program called GIMP, which everyone says is a good alternative to Photoshop. I could not figure out how to use it, but I'm just not that patient. I'm sure if you look up some tutorials, you could probably get to where GIMP would be a good option. GIMP. I'll put the link.
Yeah, all the links. We'll have all the links, guys. There'll be so many links in this one. So also it can help you stay motivated. Like, I know Generation Challenges, like, I'm super motivated at the first gen. I'm like, Gen 1, yeah! Gen 2, I'm like, I don't care anymore. I never make it past Gen 2. But this can also help you be motivated, like, too, because you have to post for your people. You know, it helps you be a little more motivated, a little more, like, in the mix, if you will. So there's that. And also you'll gain followers. People will be invested in your story. They'll be like, wow, I want to know what happened to Summer. Did her and Dylan, did they get married? What happened? Did he leave her at the altar? Dylan was on the fence about it.
And having other people care does make you care more about stuff.
Let me tell you, it does. I keep thinking I'm talking into the void in this podcast, but I'm not. And then I'm like, people are listening. I have to make sure that I am listenable.
You'll be haunted by songs forever and ever.
You're welcome. I didn't sing not once this episode, guys. You're freaking welcome.
Not yet.
Not yet.
The night is young.
The night is young.
There's a musical SimLit coming up.
I would kind of be into that.
Just a musical SimLit to be horribly singing one of the Sim fan fictions or whatever. I'm down for that.
Song fics are the easiest form of fan fiction, so translating it into Sims.
Just a musical?
Yeah.
Good Lord.
What is our life?
So, okay, if you're like, you know what? I want to start one of these things. Sounds awesome. I'm going to start a SimLit thing or whatever. Then go to Sims Resource and find all the tips and tricks. Because, dear God, I don't have one, so I can't tell you too much. Because, I mean, shit, what am I supposed to say? Don't suck. That's my tips and tricks for you.
Check your grammar.
Check your grammar. And what does RuPaul say? Don't fuck it up?
Yeah.
Pretty much is how I feel about it. In the words of RuPaul, don't fuck it up. Or do, whatever.
Make sure you are invested in the project and that you want to see it to completion and that you are in love with the characters, because I think then the rest kind of follows.
Yeah.
And if you're not committed, it's just going to be painful for everyone when you're like Coffee on YouTube who decides that I'm not going to continue the Lunar Zodiac challenge that I started and then the second challenge that I started because I'm just not into doing Sims videos anymore. And then she just leaves everyone.
Roxy, are you okay? Are you upset?
I'm okay. I was a little upset about that announcement, and I get it. She's got a life, but I'm just like, I really liked that series, and a lot of people are doing her challenge, and she just decided to quit. And I'm like, please don't.
She's like, I'm just so angry. I feel that way about some of my fan fiction authors. I was reading one, and it was really good. It had like 2 chapters left. She even said it, and then she just fucking ghosted everybody.
No, there's one thing if it's midway through and then something happened.
Yeah, we were almost done. I was like, can you come back for the 2 chapters?
And if she knows it's 2 chapters, then there's at least a rough draft.
Crank that shit out. But yeah, it's been like 3 years. I'm still salty. It's okay. I still check randomly, and I'm like, it's still not there.
I've made the mistake of not checking when it's been posted because on Archive of Our Own, I'll sort by kudos just because, and I'll forget to like check when it's last posted if it's finished, and I'll get like midway through and be like, oh, this isn't done. This was last updated 2 years ago, and I'm just gonna be sad now.
So don't do that. Don't leave your listeners, your viewers, your whatever,
your eyeballers.
Yeah,
don't leave them in the lurch. Don't leave your eyeballers in the lurch, okay? They want to know what happens to Summer.
If you have to, like, something happens with life and you can't finish the story you planned, you could probably do, like, a very quick, sorry, I needed one more thing.
Just kill her.
Out. Here's the end of the story. Just have her wake up. It was all a dream.
If you can't do it, I mean, especially if you're playing Sims 3, that shit was easy. Just throw her in the pool, man. Take out the ladder and let it go.
Pools are still the easiest deaths. I killed someone in the pool this morning.
Have her make anything but a garden salad, and her fucking stove will catch on fire, or a garden salad, whatever.
I also set my stove on fire this morning. All of the Sims. Oh, I didn't kill anyone in real life. I didn't set my stove on fire in real life, but yeah. This is what happens when I get up at 5:30 in the morning. I'm like, what are we
just gotta die.
You should have been like, one of those was a real life thing. The other one was a Sim.
You guess which one.
So you make your SimLit, right? How do people find you? How are people like, but I want to read this? How I found Alice and Kev, honestly, was from like some random other Tumblr like that I followed because I had read their Sims generation story, whatever. they linked to that one. So basically, you need to like get involved in the community. Put yourself out there. Whore yourself out virtually.
Hashtags. All the hashtags.
Be a virtual whore, okay? Put yourself everywhere in every corner of every piece of the internet. And then that's how people find you. But make sure you do it like in Sims groups. I'm like, don't put yourself in like iLikeDogs.com. Like, no one cares about your sim in that group.
They'll be like, how did you get in here?
Why are you here?
You'll be like, there's a dog in the story.
Oh, man. Okay. So, guys, do we have any favorite Simlits that we want to talk about?
Obviously, my own. It was a treasure.
Yeah, where are you going to post that?
I might screen grab it. I don't want my...
You don't want your live journal posted to the world?
No, they don't need to know my 15, 14
That's why my
thoughts.
Zeta is forever in the Internet Archives forever, because that shit was stupid.
I've never even heard of that site.
Zanga? Really? Man.
I remember it. I will say, like, I did, like, people commented and said they liked it, so it wasn't just me posting into a void. And I did, like, there was just a lot of running jokes of just... Because whenever they would talk about gold in Sims 2, it just was like a bar and it was glowing. And I'd just have them be like, we're talking about butter or gold? And so there'd be running jokes of butter and gold interchangeably. I don't know.
That sounds awesome.
So my live journal is so old that I posted on that my niece was born. And she turned 14 on Sunday.
Because she's a full person.
Oh, she's a whole person. And I posted that she was born on my live journal. That is how old my live journal is. This shit followed me to college. Like, it was bad. So, yes, the internet is a treasure trove of things that we shouldn't have posted, but it did. But, oh, Roxy, tell the story that got you hooked. What was that? What was that one again?
Oh, I'll retell it because I kind of touched on it. But yeah, this is before I played The Sims, and I just stumbled across this because I'm a Harry Potter fan. It was Live Journal, Cloudless Nights, and she had a whole bunch of Harry Potter Sim stuff. But she did a thing called the Time Turner Incident because she was doing like the book characters, like the current stuff. And then she went back and was like, oh, I'm going to get Lily and James and Sirius and Remus and even Peter and play with them. And she did a whole long series of their adventures, and it was just really funny. And I think that was the first time I ever saw Sirius and Remus shipped, and I was like, yes, this is my ship.
I will go down with this ship.
And then I'm reading Thoreau Legacy right now, which I finished the first generation. I'm on to the second. I read a little bit of the third before I was like, oh, let me go back to the beginning. And it's well written. And that's the thing, is like, it's not perfect, but I'm enjoying it because it's written in a way that, like you said, you just want to keep going to find out what happens next to these characters.
Key to that statement, well written.
Yeah.
Let somebody that you know and who's honest with you read it before you post it. If they're like, this is some bovine fecal matter, then maybe you shouldn't post it. I'm done.
I'm going to set the bar even lower. Just check the spelling.
Wait, we have a plug. I have a plug. Grammarly.
Yeah.
Get Grammarly. I work professionally as an editor, and my boss made us get Grammarly last year and was like, this is the greatest thing ever. I'm like, yeah, it's fine. I don't really make that many mistakes.
You're like, I'm awesome, so I don't really need this.
I mean, typos are just, not my thing.
Also, double space your mother freaking paragraphs. Like, double space them. I can't. And also, when someone speaks, it starts a new paragraph.
Yes, please.
We're done.
Oh, yeah. You mean like line breaks.
Yes, just when someone speaks, just hit the enter button. Sorry.
I mean, this is good advice because, like, this is the kind of stuff that will make people not read your stuff.
I open up a fan fiction or like a thing, and it looks like that. If it's all one giant block of text, I will immediately hit the back button, and I'm not going to read it.
Yeah, it's a no. I can't. Like, I was like, if it looks like one long stream of conscious, I was like, my dyslexia cannot handle this.
I can't do it. I literally cannot do it. And so double space it and just make it look not like one giant. If you don't know how to put, like, if you're doing it on like fanfiction.net, which you shouldn't because they're balls, but if you're doing it on Archive of Our Own, whatever, they have a FWACS, a frequently asked questions part that you can go to, and they'll
Do you just say FWACS or do you say FAQ?
I say FWACS.
FWACS.
It's okay. If Caitlin can say archive, we can say FWACS.
Yeah, I did say, when you said archive, I was like, I said archive.
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 It's for potatoes.
Archive.
Oh, I've been awake too long. I have a question real quick. So we know a lot of this is like picture driven, but like is the stuff on Archive of Our Own just text based?
It can be both. It's been both.
The ones I've seen have usually been text-based.
So there you go. You have two options. Give us some Bella Goth fiction. Give us some summer holiday three-way love with the BFF household.
Yes, I'm here for it.
Yeah, the most that I saw on Archive of Our Own was it involved sim YouTubers.
Oh, that's kind of freaky.
I don't like when they pull people from IRL and put them in a fan fiction. That grosses me out.
Mm-mm.
I do characters only. Like I like Biba has a lot of banned fan fiction, and I can't with real people. I just need it to be fake people that are made up.
Yeah,
because it's odd.
I did a YouTube series that I abandoned, but it's still there if you want to see it. It's the My Favorite Murder characters, but I was really careful to be like, okay, I'm not going to kill them off. I'm not going to like pair them off with random people. They're literally just here to be like cameos of themselves, basically.
It's one of the reasons I can't do the real life makeovers we do, because I'm like, A, I can't make them look good, and B, that's weird.
I don't know. I just don't do real life people.
That's fair.
Oh, if you do make a fan fiction or a SimLit or a Tumblr version with the pictures or whatever, and you want to, send it to us and whatever it is, you can. But please understand, if I read it, I'm not going to like sugarcoat it. If it's crappy, I'm going to be like, well, you should probably do better.
Send us your links. We'll share them. We'll help you try to get some eyes on your story. Vanity can comment as herself. It's fine.
I'm going to comment as me. I'm as an entity separate from Under the Plumbob Podcast, as well as Cowplant and Llama. I'm just Vanity, and I'm going to tell you what I tell you about blind breaking. I tell you about that. No, but seriously, like if you want to, it's like, oh, I'm so super proud of this. I want more people to read it. Sure. I mean, especially if it goes to this episode, we'll definitely pump it up on the social medias, but I'm not going to pump up something that's shitty.
Are there people who just edit fan fiction?
Ooh, I want that job.
Like beta readers?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're definitely beta readers. It's a thing.
I was a beta reader for a while.
Oh.
I'm a slow reader, so I'm afraid I wouldn't be able to read things fast enough.
Because some of these people who write can just churn them out like super fast. And you're like, what? How did you do this?
Yeah, a lot of the really popular people will be like, oh yeah, and thanks to so-and-so for being my beta readers.
Yeah, I see a beta reader. So my roommate just walked in and she heard me say archive and she chuckled because she also reads things on Archive of Our Own. So she was just like, archive?
I think my boss reads Buffy and Supernatural fan fiction, but let's not talk about that. I want to say a shout out. Sarah, you're out there, you're listening to this episode. You did the really awesome cult stories that we shared some screenshots from.
Yeah. Oh, yes, those are so good.
And she posted another thing where she had done like a comic book style Strangerville, kind of like chapter 1.
I saw that too. That was her? I know it was the same person.
Yeah, I think it was the same person. I'm like, Sarah, please start a Tumblr or WordPress, anything. You can hear me. Do it. I think that you have talent and I think people want to see your stuff. And that goes for anybody listening, just if you start something up, let us know. We'll share it.
And that's like a great way that like a challenge in the game can lead to a complete like storyline. You can pick something out of the challenge and make an actual story out of.
Totally. I'm very impressed seeing people do that. Well, it's like that homeless thing. It's basically a homeless challenge, but they turned it into this great story.
And with such heart, like that's the thing. Like you can do a that's what it's hard to do sometimes, and you do probably have to have a little bit of skill in like writing and connecting with people. Because Alice and Kev could have been very one note, very like, and then they went to the store. And then they did, but it made you like, I cared so much for Alice and I wanted Kev to die. You know what I mean? Like I cared so much for it. I hated him. And then it's her dad. So when she kept going back to him, like when she got a little bit further in, like, 2 steps up, and she would go back because he like come back or something, and he would like drag her back down with him. I'm like, no, Alice, why did you go back to Kev? You know what I mean? Like I cared, and to make someone care about somebody means that you have to kind of think a little harder with it. I think that's where the heart of SimLit is. Because you care about your characters when you're playing them. You care about what happens in their life. You care when they crawl on the floor in the kitchen and die. That's a call back, guys, if you didn't hear that episode. That happened. You care when their friend on the internet dies and they just cry repeatedly. Again, another callback. These are things that happened. But you care. And so the goal is to make other people care about them, which is kind of like this podcast is. Like, we're trying to make you care about our Sims.
And us. Care about us.
A little shameless self-promotion. It's true, though. Like, you really do have to kind of make sure there's a villain and a story. And villains can be really important because we love to hate villains. I mean, that's a whole thing. I have a whole nother podcast about that.
Or just like even like the anti-hero or the whole like just what are those story bases, like it's man versus nature, like it's man versus nature, man versus man versus a society.
Look, just go back to college and get a degree in English literature. You'll understand. I'm just kidding. All right, let's wrap this up because it's getting long in the tooth, and so are we.
Did you just call me old? I'm seasoned, okay?
We're aged like fine wine.
Like this wine I've just now finished in this cup.
Yes.
Okay, so finishing up this episode because it has gone a little long in the tooth because you're welcome.
Vanity, tell us what Cowplant's next episode's about.
Oh, yeah. Hey, guys, we're talking about Will Wright.
Say that again. Will
Wright. No, Will.
Is that a callback to the episode? I haven't heard it yet.
Will Wheaton.
Will Wheaton. Sorry. It's a callback to freaking Family Guy.
Oh, okay.
When he meets Will Wheaton. We're talking about Will Wright. Will Wright and the creation of The Sims. Okay, it's not as weird as it's not as like dry and biography channel as it sounds, because we talk about a lot of the evolution of games in general and how they kind of made a trajectory into the games that they are now and how The Sims influenced that, which is really cool. We actually did a deep dive into some things and we got on some tangents, as is Cowplant is known to do.
Oh, it sounds very la-di-da.
Mm-hmm. Very, very bourgeois. And I'm back to my coffee in that one, so I'm not nearly as loose in the tooth as it was in this one.
Just high energy.
Loosen the pants? Loosen the... I don't know.
Loosen the tooth.
What's happening to our teeth?
I don't know.
I'm really concerned for us.
Anyway, so that's what we're talking about. And then Cowplant,
no, Llama.
Scheisse.
The team you're on now, I can tell you about this. So
please do.
We're going to do... There's a website that has a couple of challenges on it. It's like a blog thing, but like they're lesser known challenges, but English Simmer did one of them. It was the 13 Souls challenge. And they also have one called 10 Deaths. They're pretty straightforward.
Is that like 13 Ghosts?
Yes, 13 Ghosts is another name for it. The last time, actually, we forgot to mention the 100 challenge, which it's actually wrapping up like right around now when this episode comes out.
But you can get some last minute submissions in. We won't cut you off.
Yeah, really. I'd be happy to see the 100 challenge take off, any time of the year. Basically, for the first 100 days of the 2019, we challenge our team to like try to make collections of 100 items in The Sims, just kind of for fun, and didn't screenshot it. So we have like 100 paintings.
I'm almost done with my 100 flower arrangements, but I just needed to find a place to put them because I was selling them and I was like, oh shit, you can't sell them because they won't be there anymore.
Yeah, don't do that.
So I had to like start doing over again. I sold like 15 of them. I'm like, damn it, Vanity.
Man, after the challenge, she's going to make bank.
Girl. Well, her first ones are really shitty, so not so much.
Oh, yeah.
I sold for like $3.
Aww.
I did 100 paintings. I sold them all when I was finished, and she got to be like a level, I think it was a 4-star celebrity, or I can't even remember, but she like shot up because she sold all her paintings all at once. But then I was really sad because somebody in the gallery put up a special building and tagged us where you could display your 100 paintings, and I'm like, oh, I'd already sold mine.
I already sold them.
That art gallery is gorgeous.
Very cool.
It was super nice.
We'll have to try to find the link for that. I think it's in there under 100 challenge if you go to the gallery search.
It's either under the hashtag Under the Plumbob or Under the Plumbob Podcast. One of those two things.
Yes, they did tag it though. So speaking of that, do you want to give the social media plugs or do you want to do shout outs?
Do the shout outs. Those are way more fun.
Okay, so we have shout outs. This was in And That's Why We Sim, the Facebook group. And this is Ashley. And she said, just started listening to the podcast Under the Plumbob. I love it.
Whee! And Kenzie responded, so good.
So good. So good. Ashley, Kenzie, we think you're so good.
I think you're amazing.
Amazing.
But they weren't done. They kept going on. Cassie said, beneath the Plumbob or under the Plumbob. It's okay, Cassie.
No, this is a different one. This is a different one because somebody was asking, are there any...
That's right. This is when they said, are there any Sims podcasts? Which is the question I asked myself last September. And the answer was no.
And now it is. Okay, so Cassie said beneath the Plumbob because, we're close enough. And then Lindsay said, Under the Plumbob!
Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark.
And then Alex said, yes, Under the Plumbob is so good. And then Lindsay said, thanks, I found it and absolutely love it.
And then Kelsey said, with the little emoji. We'll have to check that one out. Yeah.
Yeah, like there are any others. No, I'm kidding. But, we really love that people enjoy the show, and we're just happy to be here rambling about The Sims.
Unprompted to be brought up. That's mostly just like, we didn't even think.
I know.
We didn't even bring it up. That was you guys.
So this also brings another point up. Tell people about us, guys. This is like segues into our ending things of rate, review, subscribe, and tell people about us. That's how we will know that we exist, is by you saying, hey, listen to that podcast called Under the Plumbob. You didn't, you should. And then people will be like, what? Let me look. Because there are no Sims podcasts. Really, I don't think there are any. So we're the only one, but because there aren't any at all.
People just don't think to look for it.
Right. They don't think there's any at all. So tell people that we exist so that we can continue to bring you awesome content like this whole entire tangent about SimLit and fan fiction.
No, that was the theme. That was the topic, not the tangent.
Oh.
Is there a difference?
Vanity. It's true. And you can take The Sims with you in your car, at your workout. You don't have to stop simming ever.
Ever.
Always be simming.
Always be simming.
ABS.
ABS. Abs. Abs. Always be simming.
Did we just change our tagline?
Oh boy.
Abs.
No explanation in the future. We'll just go abs and then leave.
New trending hashtag ABS.
Hashtag abs. But put a dot between it so you don't think it's like your actual abs. All right. So if you want to follow us on social medias, interact with us there, you can. Caitlin, tell us where you can find us.
On Instagram and Twitter, we're under the social media Plumbob Cast. We are Plumbob Podcast on Reddit. We are Under the Plumbob Podcast on Facebook and Tumblr. And we also have a website, which is undertheplumbob.com. And we are also working on getting out Twitch and YouTube contents. And we are Plumbob Podcast on there.
On YouTube.
On YouTube.
You did it.
You did it. You slayed it. You slayed it, girl.
Slayed that dragon, girl.
Spaced it out on the draft, and that made it easier.
I did. They yelled at me, and they were like, we had to put spaces so we could read it. And I'm like, yeah, okay, that's fair.
It's so hard.
That's fair. Yeah, our website is really cool. It has a few extra goodies on it if you go there and poke around. And for this episode, I wanted to give a shout out to our writers and researchers. You are all wonderful and beautiful, and we appreciate you. And also our editors and our moral supporters, and Allie, who does the music, the intro and the outro.
Yay, Allie!
Thank you, Allie.
Yeah, Allie.
I also want to. Can I thank someone?
Yeah, but hold on. I want to thank Jen and I believe Marissa contributed.
Can I thank
someone?
Yes,
please.
I'll let thank Carl.
Hashtag Vanity loves Carl. Hashtag Stoves for Vanity.
Hashtag horses and stoves.
Hashtag horses and stoves for vanity. Hashtag I love Carl. Hi, Carl. Thanks. You didn't do anything. You just exist, and that's enough.
Just a wink out in the universe for Carl.
I bet there's SimLit on Carl's site. He's got a forum.
See, he exists. He helped.
He's probably in some. There's got to be someone out there with him in it.
Yeah, Vanity.
Do not do that.
Vanity, you gonna do that?
No.
Vanity/Carl.
No. That is my worst nightmare. Do not do that, please.
I will read it.
That is creepy. Unless you make Carl Salem or Johnny Zest from The Sims, then I'm okay with either one of those.
I think it's Salim.
Is it Salim?
I think so.
Well, Salim is hot, so make Salim.
But Salem is a cute name.
I know.
And he's a writer.
Oh.
See? It works. Rate, review, subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, Google Play, and wherever else you can freaking listen to podcasts.
If we're not there, we can be there, but if we're not there, you can't hear this anyway, so...
You wouldn't know!
How did you get to this?
You can listen to our website.
Oh, yeah.
So for Caitlin, hashtag witches.
Witches.
We're going to go back to the real world.
Thank you for listening. I'm going to finish this glass of wine. I'm going to go play Dragon Age, and I'm going to eat some dinner. Back to the real world.
I'm going to go watch some anime, I guess.
I'm going to see if my husband made it home from work.
Oh, that's important. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Buddies. Dag. and we can talk about how mad I am at EA. Spoiler.
Well, I mean, like the movie, because that movie was amazing with Matthew Lillard.
But no, yeah, 13 Ghosts is actually an alternate name for the challenge.
It's a good movie, guys. Watch it.
It's a delightful movie. It should have been nominated for an Oscar. I'll fight somebody.
It's so delightful.
I was aggressively mad that Book of Life didn't get nominated for an Oscar when it was probably easily the best animated movie that year, I think.
thought you were talking about 13 Ghosts.
No.
I was too, and I was like, I mean, it was a good movie, but it wasn't like Oscar worthy.
The animation in that movie deserves something because it was so pretty.
We need to save that rant for another time.